Sports Talk it is.
Your hosts, Tony Gwynn Jr.
Man, my dad used to come home with those double beef and cheddars with the barbecue sauce that they used to come with it. Douse it up.
And Chris Ello.
Yow!
It's time to get you up to speed on all things sports.
Yes!
With plenty of nonsense in between.
Oh, look! Here comes our fearless producer!
Gwynn and Chris starts right now on 97.3 The Fan.
And welcome in, everybody. A very happy Wednesday afternoon to you. Gwynn and Chris on San Diego's #1 sports talk station, 97.3 The Fan. Chris Ello, Matt Skraby, nice and cool in the air conditioning of the Odyssey Palace in beautiful San Diego, California. And our guy, Tony Gwynn Jr., in the 100-degree, 150% humidity of St. Louis, Missouri. I got to hand it to all broadcasters, all fans, all players, and especially even maybe all umpires. I was thinking about this last night.
Yeah,
umpires don't even get to go sit down between innings. It looked miserable last night, Tony Gwynn Jr., everywhere but on the scoreboard where the Padres march on.
That's a great point, by the way. If I was an umpire, I would definitely be sitting on, like, the netting in between innings.
Take some sort of break, huh?
They don't sit down at all.
No.
Like, unless they come off to use the bathroom, that's probably the only time they can, like, have an attempt to sit down.
Yeah.
I would be doing that as a home plate umpire. I'd walk right back to the backstop, lean up against that net, and then when it's time to roll, come back out. It is crazy. But, yes, it was hot. All I could think about was showering after the first inning. And, you know, it was nice that the Padres, in a game that was some back and forth, sweaty seesaw, as my partner called it last
Sweaty
night.
seesaw.
The Padres just continue to roll, man. Again, they do it in different ways. They did the double steal late.
Oh, that was beautiful.
Big.
That was beautiful.
Moving McCoy to third was big on the set. I mean, there was just so many things that they executed well. On a night they didn't necessarily get the best start. Bullpen comes in, do their thing. Hoeing had his first little hiccup, it seemed like. After that, they settled in. They gave up nothing from that point on, and the Padres take the first two games of the series. It's just, again, nothing that is extraordinary on a night like this. Just some old-fashioned stick-to-itness and execution.
Yeah.
Wins you a ball game.
Little Al Davis last night, right? Just win, baby. Just find a way to get it done last night. Padres continue this remarkable stretch. It is now a 34-game stretch, which is, over a month, nearly a month and a half with days off, a month and a half of sustained excellence in baseball to go 26-8, since that one loss at the beginning of the All-Star break. I don't think there's an argument. If you want to make one, go ahead, but I think they're the best team in baseball for the last month and a half. I know the Diamondbacks have a similar record, but I don't think the Diamondbacks have had the kind of dramatics and kind of victories that the Padres have had, and winning in Baltimore and coming from behind over and over again and winning with tying home runs and then in extra innings. I think right now they look like the best team in the league. And, the one thing that stood out to me last night, Tony, that was different than all of the other victories they've had in this recent run is that for the first time the scoreboard was their friend as well. The Dodgers lost, the Diamondbacks lost, and they gained some ground in the NL West. They're now 3 back. They are knocking on the door of the best record in the league, and I know that is not their goal. I don't even think it should be our goal, honestly. But I was looking at this, Tony, and it would be some kind of feather in the cap of this team. The Padres, in their 55 years of existence, have never once had the best record in the National League. They never have. The years they went to the World Series in '84, the Cubs had a better record that year. Obviously, in '98, they were seated behind the Braves in that playoff. So, there is something to it. It doesn't, a parade is a whole lot better at the very end. But this team is starting to get me to believe things of total grandeur right now, and maybe I should just calm down.
Yeah, to be honest, I don't care about none of that stuff, honestly.
I know.
Best record, win the division, get in, however you want to do it. I don't really care because it's at the end of the day, we didn't talk about how good the Padres were in 22. All we talked about was the run they went on.
That's right.
And I think that's what it really boils down to. Those things are nice. And I've said it, winning a division is important in terms of setting the type of what's the word I'm looking for? Like when
Just
a
gives
team
you the
wins
best opportunity, I think, to me.
Forget that. I'm talking about in terms of what you want to build with your organization.
Precedence.
Right? It sets a tone, right? When you win, you go out and win your division, right? There's a certain gravitas that comes with it. That's why the Dodgers are who they are. They won one World Series in this whole run here.
Yeah.
But because they go out and win the division pretty much every year, they're going to constantly hold that kind of weight. And so, listen, as you said, the parade is the thing at the end, right? You want to win a World Series. You are starting to hear talk nationally of people that believe the Padres can win the World Series, especially in MLB Network right now. I feel like everybody up there right now is on the bandwagon.
Oh, and
right
Brian,
now.
I bet you Brian
Padres.
Kenny's carrying the flag, probably.
Oh, I bet you
He's
not.
not
I bet
allowed
you
to.
I bet you he's the hard holdout.
He probably is.
Well,
right,
he has to be.
which-
He tried to break up the team earlier this
Yes,
year.
he did.
Yeah,
Yes, he did.
No doubt about it. No doubt about it. But I just, for me, I would love for them to win the division. I could care less about the best record in baseball or the National League. All it matters is getting in and playing your best baseball at that point. And right now, they're setting themselves up to be able to do that. And, I brought up, I think we talked about it the other day about the Diamondbacks being on an incredible pace and the Padres kind of, had that week where they went 4-3 and they went 5-5, right before that, or they went 500 right before that. Ultimately, as you just pointed out, Chris, over a 34-game span, it's still an impressive run they've been on, regardless of whether it's been the best run in that amount of games. This team is doing it by playing the game the right way. There's been some heroics, of course. The Padres have come back. I think they got the second most comeback victories in baseball this year. But their foundation is built on playing the game right, and it's not dependent on one specific thing. They get good pitching, they don't get good pitching. They get good bullpen, a bullpen might have a hiccup. They still find ways to win, and they got, as I said yesterday, they got that magic. Just kind of, there's something magical about this squad that's hard to deny at this point.
One of the guys that the television broadcast spent some quality time on last night was our hitting coach, Victor Rodriguez. Victor Rodriguez. And he was talking a lot about their approach and, I don't know, how they think about, putting the ball in play with 2 strikes, et cetera. And they put up a stat. The Padres have the best batting average in baseball this year when their hitters have 2 strikes, which isn't surprising since they have the best batting average in baseball overall. But I noticed Profar last night got down 0-2 and then hit a deep fly to center field, almost in a sense giving himself up to get that run in from third base. And they've had a lot of 2-strike hits. I think Manny's home run was with 2 strikes the other night. Peralta had a big hit with 2 strikes. This is all part of the success of this team and the hitting coach and the theory. Tony, what are they doing, though? I mean, I can't imagine other teams aren't trying to do, the same thing. I mean, do you notice the Padre hitters shortening up a little with 2 strikes? Is that what it is? But, I really like it. I really like it.
This has been something that's been happening literally all season long. Like, this didn't start in the second half.
Yeah.
It's literally been happening all season long in terms of the type of at bat. It's a mindset. It's not necessarily, you going up there shortening up, and that, don't get me wrong, that does happen from time to time, but it's a mindset. It's an understanding of what you want to do, what you're trying to do, and then that changes depending on the count and what the scoreboard is telling you. And it takes reps, right? And I think that was part of the constant 500, over 500, below 500, 500, like throughout the first half of the season. As they started to get those reps and things started to cement as who they were as an offense, now you're just seeing it at a more consistent level. I think all year long, up and down the lineup, I would say at different parts in the first half, there'd be different parts that executed that very well. It might be 1 through 5 one night. It might be 1, 3, 5, 8 that one night. But there was remnants of it throughout the season. I think the difference is now you're legitimately getting a 1 through 9 type battle when you have it. It don't always result in the result that you're looking for. Like, it may not end up in a fly ball to center that advances the runner. But so often I'm looking down at my chart, and we're 6, 7, 8, 9 pitches into an at-bat, and it's not the same guy every time. I mean, Mason McCoy puts together an at-bat like that. Campy will put an at-bat together like that. Kyle Gashioka will put an at-bat like that. We know Jerickson and Arraez put at-bats like that at the top of the lineup. Manny does. I mean, it's literally everybody in the lineup doing that. And that wears on a starter. It wears on a reliever. And when you're doing that, a lot of you end up putting yourself in good spots to be aggressive, to take the kind of, swings where you can split an alley or hit a ball out of the ballpark. And I think just as important, pitchers start to make mistakes. When you get to 7, 8, 9, 10 pitch at bats, they've been executing 7, 8, 9 pitches in a row. There's a mess up in there somewhere. And a lot of times the Padres are right there for the mess up. And even when it's not a mess up, the Padres still find a way to execute. And I just think that is why we're talking about this team the way we're talking about them.
Nobody cares how I went about pitching way back when in the old days. But I will tell you this, Tony. Since I didn't throw hard, I usually stop it.
That was the perfect usage. You set me up.
When I would pitch, and since I didn't throw hard, guys would usually put the ball in play on the first or second pitch, maybe the third pitch. Something would happen. Whenever I got an at bat where some guy was fouling off like 6, 7 pitches in a row, I honestly used to get mad, Tony, and almost lob one down the middle so he could just hit it and get the at bat over with. It drove me crazy.
Wait,
and
you
I think
gave up on the at-bat?
A lot of in a sense, yes, I did. I wanted them to just hit it and get it in place so I could start working on the next guy because I got tired of them fouling it off. And I'm bringing this up because this is what Tony's saying out there. These pitchers they're getting frustrated. They can't get them out. So many foul balls, so many pitches, and so many quality results. Last night, the thing that stands out to me as much as anything, first of all, they came from behind once, they came from behind twice. They scored 7 runs last night. The only big slug hit I can remember them getting was Manny's home run. All of this stuff seemed to happen on opposite field singles, ground balls, sacrifice flies, bloopers that fell in, a little shot here or there. They manufactured not 2 runs, 7 runs with a bunch of good at-bats and quality performances.
Yeah, man. Listen, I don't know if I don't. I'm like Chris.
You don't think the pitcher's giving up?
Just throwing down the middle. I don't think they're doing that. I think,
no, I know.
Pressure bursts pipes, and sometimes when you're getting that kind of pressure added to you, it used to happen. A good example was Barry Bonds. He didn't get very many pitches to hit, right? But you got in a situation sometimes where they'd be trying to be so fine off the plate or on the corner, you end up making a mistake in the middle of the plate, and he would hit a homer. I think that's after 7, 8, 9 pitches, you execute just the laws of average. You're going to make a mistake at some point, and that I thought that was on Manny's at bat. He never got to a count where it was like he was ahead, but he fouled off so many pitches, and that when he hit the homer, He got a changeup that was elevated. The pitcher had just hung a breaking ball that he was out in front of and fouled back the previous pitch. Tried to throw a changeup, trying to be fine with it, left it over to up in the zone, and he hit it a mile. So, yeah, man, this team is rolling right now in a good way. The one thing I think we do got to keep an eye on is, the bullpen. They have, yesterday still covered quite a bit.
4+.
4+ after getting a reprieve the day before from Vasquez. Tonight they hope to get another reprieve. Because, listen, I know it doesn't seem like there's a lot of season left, and there's not. There's a month, but that's still, 30+ games you got coming down the chute here that you got to make sure you can get through and then be good to go come playoff time.
Well, right now the beat goes on for the Padres. As mentioned, 7-5 was the final last night, and they just keep on rolling. And again, on the road, they're now 39-26 on the road. They don't have the best record in the National League. They have it by a mile. Like, there's no one even close to them on the road. They look comfortable, even in the miserable conditions of St. Louis, Missouri. I'm sweating just thinking about it. We're underway. Good to have you with us on a short program this Wednesday afternoon. Gwynn and Chris rolling till about 3:30 or so. Then Sam Lev comes along with the pregame show. Tony and Jesse with the game at about 4:45. Until then, sit back, relax, and sit in front of an air conditioner on 97.3 The Fan.
This summer, keep your cool with Gettle Air Conditioning.
Turn my thing down. Here we go. 3, 2, 1. Hey, baseball fans. Tony Gwynn Jr. here. Things are getting pretty exciting down the stretch, but nothing can beat the excitement of a new TimberTech deck. TimberTech is made up of 85% recycled materials and proprietary, dang it, here we go. Pick up from TimberTech. TimberTech is made of TimberTech
I think they should have, honestly, canceled that game yesterday, Skraby. It was so bad.
You're very concerned about
Very
this
concerned
weather.
about the health of these players. Look, hey, a CIF, right?
Well,
California
they're high schoolers.
high school kids are worried about them. They can't play football games in certain weather. I guarantee you they couldn't have played a football game in that weather yesterday.
I'm not going to worry about a guy who
You're not going to worry about
plays sports
another,
for a living
you're
outdoor.
You're not going to be concerned about the health of another human being?
No.
I am.
No.
I'm concerned
Is
about the
anybody
health
concerned that we have to sometimes record in a studio that's 95 degrees?
Sweltering. No kidding. It was sweltering in that studio today. Tonight, it'll be probably just as warm and just as muggy, so we'll see how it goes for Joe Musgrove and the Padres as they look to make it 3 straight over the Cardinals. I honestly would rather play in the Dolphin-Chiefs frigid playoff game than in that baseball game yesterday.
You're insane.
I'm not insane.
You
I'd
are
rather be too cold than that
insane.
hot. It was Dylan Cease looked like the most uncomfortable human being on the planet last night.
Dylan Cease also pitched in the AL Central for most of his career. He's fine. He's done this before.
How do you know he's fine? Have you asked
He's
him?
from Georgia.
Maybe he hated it.
He pitched in Chicago.
Maybe he absolutely hated it last night.
He probably did, but I don't think it's a big deal to him.
It's a big deal to me. It's a big deal to me. You know what? Here's another big deal to me. Is that Skraby and I, for the second year in a row, have put together a big challenge for everybody out there. And I know that all of you out there think you're better than we are. And this will give you a chance to prove it. We are having our second annual Survivor Pool for the National Football League.
Yes.
Of course, you've got to get registered and get in to the pool you got about a week, right? Because the NFL season starts next Thursday night.
Yes, it does.
So you don't have a whole lot of time. Now, Skraby is going to put the information not only on our webpage at 97.3 The Fan SD, he's going to tweet it out. You'll have access to it there. Anywhere else you can,
I can
give
tell
people
you right
access
now,
to it?
I'm going to try to put the post back on the front page of 97.3 The Fan SD that has or 97.3thefansd.com. It has the link to the actual page.
So it'll just
Also,
basically be a couple of clicks. You'll click on one, you'll type your name in, you have yourself an entry. And then, each week you pick a team to win a game in the NFL, and if they win, you survive. And whoever survives the longest at the end wins. And guess what? Last year we played for Pride, and we had several hundred entries.
We did.
And we had a lot of fun with it. Skraby and I did okay. We stayed alive for a while. Tony doesn't like us to mention this. He was eliminated in week 1 last year, so he's going to try to redeem himself. But, get in it. Have some fun.
Sam Levitt, let me tell you, was out after week 1 because he forgot to set his team.
He didn't even set his team last year.
Mm-hmm.
So, look, get your team, get your entry. But here's the cool news, and this is cool, and I wish you had this with you. Where did it go? Adam brought it to you yesterday.
Oh, it went back to someone.
Oh, it did? Okay.
Yes.
But here's the deal.
Everybody knows what you're going to be talking about.
We don't – oh, they do?
Yes.
Who's everybody?
Okay, so I would say most people are going to know what to picture in their mind when you talk about this.
I see. You're right. They will. All right, we're not playing only for Pride this year. Oh, here it is.
Wow.
Adam's brought it in.
Adam just
Thank you,
literally
Adam.
came out of nowhere with
Thank
the
you,
bat.
Adam. If you look behind me, Adam is holding up the World Wrestling Federation style championship belt. That is going to be engraved with your name on it.
I love that he's doing his best Price is Right impression.
Yeah, very good, Diane Parkinson. Thank you very much. Anyway, that was the World Championship Wrestling belt.
I'm about 30 seconds too late.
You're a little late, but that's okay. Anyway, whoever wins our Survivor Pool, Skraby is going to get your name engraved on the belt, and you will have the championship belt from the Gwynn and Chris show to have and to hold and to cherish.
I'm also designing the belt.
Yes.
So I will leave the side. Well, we still need to figure out whether or not it's going to be a running belt or if they're just going to get their own belt each
Get a new
year.
belt every year?
Yeah.
I kind of like the running belt, but the problem with the running and what you mean by
trusting the listener
we're
not to
trusting the
lose
listener
it.
to give it back to us for the next year.
So I think we might be giving it. But anyway, I
Anyway.
can't decide. Do I want to put our faces on the front of the belt? You know our picture that we have for our podcast
you think you can
page?
get that engraved on a belt?
It says you could send in any image
All
you
right.
want.
Well, put it on there. See what happens. Anyway, you can win the Gwynn and Chris Survivor pool.
Oh, Adam made a great point. I'm sorry to interrupt you.
Yes.
He said we're going to be getting the belt before we know the winner, so we can't engrave the winner's
Oh, we
name.
won't be able to
Yes.
engrave their name, but
So-
they will get. Hey, look, you're going to get the belt. You're going to be the champ. And so anyway, take a minute, and that's all it takes. Like in 1 minute, click on the link that Skraby has out there, and get yourself an entry. Then each week, pick a team to win in the NFL. See if you can't be the Survivor champ. That's the first bit of business. The second bit of business is this. A week from today, next Wednesday, Skraby and I are going to be out and about at the Buffalo Wild Wings in Mira Mesa.
I don't know. I just
You're
felt like
trying
doing
it
this.
again.
Just felt like doing
Since
this.
you were so late the last
No,
time, you
'cause we're
thought
gonna
you'd
walk
tried it
in.
We're going to walk in carrying the belt?
Yes.
All right, we're going to be broadcasting live from Buffalo Wild Wings in Mira Mesa next Wednesday. That is on Reagan Road out
Yes,
there in
correct.
Mira Mesa. We'll give you all the details. But as usual, we'll have fun. We'll have prizes. We'll have food. We'll have drink. And you'll have a chance to win Padre tickets. So make sure you're out there with us next Wednesday. Make a note of it from 2 o'clock. What is it going to be? Till about 5:30?
Yes, because they're at home.
Next
And-
Wednesday,
and
they're at home next week.
we can't reveal the other thing that's happening.
There's another big thing
Yeah,
that
but we're-
Buffalo Wild
yeah.
Wings is doing,
We're
a
not
big
gonna reveal it,
promotion
though.
that they are doing kind of in concert with our appearance that is going to be incredible. I mean, I hate to say stuff like this because then you never back it up, but this time I can back it up. It's incredible what they're going to be offering.
Yeah, this isn't on us. You just have to be there.
You just need to be there next Wednesday. So if
And that's
you're
all we'll
ever
say.
going to come out to an appearance, next
we
Wednesday
can
is the
reveal,
one.
Adam says.
We can?
Yes.
What Buffalo Wild Wings is giving away?
Apparently.
They are giving away during our show. Are they actually giving it away?
Well-
or is it qualification?
No, they're giving them away. Local people.
It is 10 people will win free Buffalo Wild Wings for a year. That time was okay. But did you hear me say that, though?
Yeah, I did.
You get free Buffalo Wild Wings for a year.
They're signing people up. 10 people are going to win
Right.
free Buffalo Wild Wings
So you
for a
need to
year.
be at our show next Wednesday to get signed up for that. That's incredible. Win Padre tickets. You could get Buffalo Wild Wings for a year.
Yeah.
Wow.
Do boneless wings count?
I hope so, because I'm kind of a boneless wings fan,
I'm
honestly.
definitely, but people
I'm a
say that boneless
boneless
wings are just chicken tenders with sauce on them.
Well, there's
kind of true.
It is kind of true. There's a little gray area there. There's a little gray area that has to be dealt with.
Tyler is asking what time? 2, just our normal show time.
Yeah,
2 to like
normal
5:30.
show time next week, 2 to about 5:30. Make sure you get over to Mira Mesa if you're in that neck of the woods. Even if you're not, you might want to go out of your way because you can win some tickets and you could win wings for a year. So that's all next Wednesday. We'll tell you more about that as that's coming up. We got to take a break already because it's a short show.
This is my
We got to
favorite
get to
segment
our
of the
big
week.
five. What?
This is my favorite segment of the week.
I know. We were talking about giving a bunch of fun stuff away. So we'll come back. More Gwynn and Chris. We got a big five headed your way this hour, brought to you by Floor & Decor. Unbeatable prices, unmatched in-stock selection. Floor & Decor has more styles of laminate, vinyl, tile, wood, and stone. For anyone looking for the right look at the right price, your next beautiful space is at Floor & Decor. Floor & Decor, unbeatable prices, unmatched in-stock selection. Gwynn and Chris, thanks for being with us. I and Skraby, with our daily Battle Royal, otherwise known as the Big Five.
Check on the latest in sports. Only the most important topics and questions are brought to light.
Stop what you're doing and listen.
These news stories will astound and amaze you. The one, the only.
Oh my God, who the hell cares?
The Big Five starts now on 97.3 The Fan.
Padres continue to roll along in St. Louis. It's much more fun, guys, I think, to watch a team that when they go down by a run, you know that they have a chance to come back. It makes the game just more fun to watch. I don't know about you guys, but that's how I feel. So. All right, thanks, guys.
You're welcome.
Number 5.
Dylan Cease
We've been talking about this all day, so I don't know why you're thinking that this is an incredible, note that you brought up.
Well, now it's
yes,
my
it is.
turn.
It is great
Now
for them
it's my turn to say that.
It is great for them to, win these games.
I'm talking about
yes.
entertainment value.
Yes, okay.
I'm not talking about like actual baseball value. I'm talking about entertainment.
Pretty sure we opened the show with that
Okay.
exact sentence.
I know. Oh, is that right?
Were you not here?
Is that right? I don't think I was. Dylan Cease. I love him. He seems like a very interesting guy off the field as well, which is fun. But he gave up 4 runs last night. I'm just going to get right to it, guys.
Uh-huh.
And we know that he's been really good at times this year. We know that he threw a no-hitter. We knew that he gave up like 1 hit over 5 or 3 starts, whatever. I could have done that better. Chris, heading into the stretch of the season, are we worried about Dylan Cease?
I'm not. I don't think anybody should have been even allowed to pitch in those conditions last night in St. Louis. That was a night. It had to be a nightmare. I mean, I don't even know how you tee it up for 4. What do you go 4 1/3 innings? And that to me was impressive. I mean, that's oppressive heat. It's ridiculous. I don't think you can feel comfortable and relaxed. He's had 1 quality start since his no-hitter, so that is one note that might make people, feel like they're concerned, but I'm not. This is the typical course of a season for a starting pitcher. Even the great ones, have stretches where they don't get touched for about a week and a half or 2, and then they give up a few runs. I mean, it's tough. I mean, these guys can hit out there, so no, I'm very concerned about how Dylan Cease pitches, the first week of October, but I feel very comfortable sending him out there.
Tony, are you worried about Dylan Cease?
Ditto.
I didn't know where he was going to go. I was almost afraid to ask, to be honest.
No, I'm not worried about Dylan. This is, as Chris said, the normal course of a season, and as long as he's good to go by playoff time, that's all that really ultimately matters. I don't read too much into, a couple starts where, he hasn't been his normal self. He was out of body for 3 or 4 starts where, as you said, he only gave up 1 hit. So, he's having a good year despite these last few bad outings. I mean, the guy, I look at stuff and I marvel at this kind of stuff. I mean, he's 12-10 going into that game, 22 decisions. That means he's pitching deep into games. He's in there long enough to get wins and losses. He's been healthy all year long. I don't worry about that.
Plus, Skraby, he had to pitch last night basically wearing a wet sport coat. I don't know. I mean, maybe it just looked that way on television, Tony. His jersey looked like it was soaked through by the bottom of the first inning.
I heard you and Jesse actually talking about it.
It was incredible. I've never seen, that kind of sweat and humidity, and for guys to have to pitch, it was crazy.
Well, I think it's important. We mentioned that both guys had to pitch in the same weather, and I think the color of our uniforms made that look absurd. Yeah,
you think so?
It made it look crazy because I'm sure the other guy was sweating too. He just had a white uniform on.
You're right. But it looked like Dylan Cease went in between innings, dipped his jersey in water, and then came back out.
It wasn't even in between innings. It was the first inning before he even threw a pitch. He was already like
he looked uncomfortable. The other guy looked uncomfortable. I was uncomfortable.
I know this really affected you, Chris.
I tell you, he didn't look uncomfortable. The Padres offense didn't look uncomfortable.
They were fine.
They were as hot as the weather.
Oh my goodness gracious!
Thank you.
Rib shot.
Gotta go to number 4. Ken Rosenthal wrote an opinion piece. I'll just let everybody know. I got 2 topics today from the 2 guys. This is Tony's topic. It's a good one. Chris's topic is a good one, too. Ken Rosenthal wrote an opinion piece about the National League MVP race and brought up what some think is a pretty good point about Shohei Ohtani. Sure, his offensive numbers are way up there, but he's not playing defense this year. He's just a DH. So, Tony, does Shohei Ohtani's lack of defense matter in the MVP?
It should. I mean, it always has, right? I mean, there's been some DHs that have had tremendous years, and were discounted because, in the MVP I'm talking, because they didn't have a position. I mean, I think it should. Now, the question is, in the National League, is there anybody doing anything worth challenging that this year? It's hard to come up with someone. Ketel Marte hurt right now. Yeah, man, this is a good question. I think it should matter. I think the most valuable player, I think we're all going to be jaded by, at least the voters, I think. I'm almost positive we'll be jaded by the fact that they have seen Shohei Ohtani pitch and pitch at an extremely high level. I think that can't be, I think most people have a hard time removing that from their brain as they're trying to make an objective pick here. But I do challenge that even if he's not pitching this year, is there anybody having the kind of year that could challenge that, right? We having a completely different conversation if Shohei was still in the American League right now, right? I think there's certainly 2 guys who are playing both sides of the baseball that could make an argument. Obviously, Judge is at the top of that list, but he's in the American League. And Chris, can you think of anybody else outside of Ketel Marte?
No.
Maybe
Do 40 stolen bases help?
Yeah, they don't hurt, especially if he ends up with
Are
50.
you kidding me?
I know, but does it outweigh the no defense?
Nobody's ever had 50-50. I mean, that in itself is going to put him in the...
I think in this year it does matter. That 50, I mean, that's a whole different. He's by himself. He's like when Bonds did 40-40. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, there's nobody else. It's just you. And so
that is pretty crazy.
Jose Canseco won the MVP the year that he became the first guy to go 40-40, and he was a DH. Jose Canseco couldn't field a ground ball or catch a fly ball to save his life, but when he went 40-40, it was like, well, we've never seen this before. It was a landslide vote.
There's definitely exceptions in an MVP year, right? Yeah. Every year is different. Clayton Kershaw won an MVP. Clearly, he's not hitting.
Yeah. Dennis Eckersley won one as a reliever one time.
That's right. If there are exceptions to the rule, and although I think this is a good debate, I think in 2024 in the National League, especially if he gets to 50-50, even if he doesn't if he gets close to 50-50, I don't see anybody in the National League having the kind of year that, trumps that.
Chris?
Yeah, I don't either. I think it does. It should matter. I don't think it ever really does matter. When they lay out, they put up on the screen on, MLB Network or ESPN, the candidates for MVP, they don't put up any fielding statistics. They don't put any F-WAR statistics. They don't put any BAPIP statistics or range statistics. They put up home runs, RBI, slugging, OPS, steals,
WAR.
A little war. So
I've declared war on war.
On war.
I want. That's a good one, Skrabe. I'm right behind you. I'm right behind you, loaded for bear there. But no, this is a runaway. I mean, honestly, the only interesting question is who's going to finish second behind him. But it is a fair point to bring up, and it's one that Edgar Martinez had to overcome after years and years of trying to get into the Hall of Fame. All right,
did Big Papi ever win an MVP?
I don't know that Big Papi ever got an MVP. That's a fair question. I don't think he did.
I don't think he did.
But
either.
Edgar took many years to get in as a DH, hitting infielder, and he was certainly had the numbers to get in, but they finally.
He was a World Series MVP and ALCS MVP,
Papi,
but I'm not seeing
I don't think
him
he won
as an MVP.
league MVP. But it's I don't think too many people think of the fielding unless the offense is really close, and this year it's not in the NL.
All right.
Number 3.
Rams head coach Sean McVay announced yesterday his starting running back, Kyron Williams, is also going to be their primary punt returner. He told the media, quote, "It's another opportunity for him to get touches and impact the game, and you feel comfortable with that because of the confidence in Blake Corum and Ronnie Rivers being able to spell him if need be," end quote. Chris, do you think it's a good idea to have your starting running back as your primary punt returner?
It's a great idea until he gets hurt returning a punt. That's the answer. I mean,
Yeah.
I think it's fine. He's an explosive runner. I'm sure you're happy about it.
I'm not, because I don't get any points for it.
Yeah, of course you do. If
No,
he
I
returns,
looked.
if he
I looked.
returns a punt for a touchdown, you will score
It's a
points.
defensive touchdown.
You should still score his points for a touchdown. But anyway, that's neither here nor there. The question doesn't have to do with you. The question has to do.
You made it about me.
I know I did. I apologize. No, that's the answer. I mean, it's a great idea. I mean, Tyreek Hill should return punts for the Dolphins or kickoffs. He's the best runner. I don't mind taking chances like this personally. But you know, Sean, what's this guy's name? This coach that I don't like?
Sean McVay.
Sean McVay. Yeah, I
What's this guy's name?
I put him out of my mind. You know, he's smarter than the rest of us anyway. So
he
can't argue with
Did win
him.
a Super Bowl.
So did Sean Payton. Doesn't look too smart about now.
Good point, Chris.
Thank you.
Tony, is it smart to have your starting running back as your primary punt returner?
I guess I'll tweak my answer a little bit from Chris. If he can stay healthy the whole time, it's a great idea. Otherwise, I don't see this being a great idea because I don't. And listen, maybe the new kickoff rules lend itself. Did you say punt or kickoff?
I think he's doing punts.
Oh, yeah. So
Because Debo might be doing some kicks.
Maybe.
I could see kickoffs
Yeah,
because
me
you know
too.
it's a little less dangerous now. But yeah, man, running back position is already a position that you take a beating. I don't see why adding more beating to the.
I think that's a
to
good
the
point, Tony. And here's the other thing that I'm going to go against Sean McVay now since I don't like him. There's
Taking
really
a leap here.
Well, I think the risk reward is not equal here.
Maybe he's
punt-
good at punt returning.
Okay, if he starts averaging 28 yards of punt return, then I'll go along
I'll
with
change
it.
my answer.
But punt return guys only average 7-8 yards of punt return as opposed to another guy who might average 6 to 7. So what is the risk is that he's hurt and he missed 5 games. The reward is he gains an extra
field
3
position,
yards.
man. It's a game of field position, Chris.
I hope it hurts Sean McVay.
Number 2.
Dick Mountain is back, everybody. Rich Hill is back in the majors. Nearly 2 decades and more than a dozen teams since he made his big league debut. If he gets one outing in 2024, which he will, it will make him the only active player to appear in a game in each of the past 20 seasons. Manager of the Red Sox, Alex Cora, I did that on my own.
Good.
Quote, "He looks great physically. He's always taken care of that part. He's excited to be back. He was very diligent the last few months about his craft. He's always done it. So now, no doubt about him physically. He's going to be okay. He's going to throw the ball well," end quote. He was at AAA Worcester before this. So my question is this, and I know Tony's not going to like it. There's no one better in their entire organization to choose than Rich Hill?
Was there a question there somewhere?
Yeah,
waiting for the question.
Okay. My question is there anyone better in the entire organization to choose than Rich Hill?
Clearly not. I mean,
I knew
this is
that was the answer.
dumb question. I mean,
I'll agree with that.
Let's not be disrespectful. Rich Hill has been a major leaguer for a long time, a
20
lot longer
seasons.
than myself. There you go. So, probably not. Is there people who throw harder? I'm sure. Are there people who can spin it better? Maybe. But can they pitch? You know, can they get a big leaguer out? That's a different question, and I think the answer is no, because that's why they called Rich Hill up. Those other guys possibly need more seasoning or not good enough.
All right, Chris.
I just want to hear Alex Cora talk about Rich Hill about mid-September. See what kind things he has to say about him then.
I think I would have a much better outlook on him, but last year...
It was so bad last year. I hope Rich Hill goes up and gives him a couple of performances.
Why not?
I like guys that can pitch. In a day and age where it all comes down to the radar gun and all that, Rich Hill's kind of the opposite. Good for him. I'm going to root for anybody over the age of 40 still playing Major League Baseball. And, But it does seem kind of a desperation move by the Red Sox, and it says something about their farm system or their unwillingness to bring up some young pitcher to get those innings.
Were we saying that when the Padres were signing the likes of Ramirez and some of these older guys that their farm system must be trash because they keep bringing up these older guys? No, I think the fact of the matter is you don't want to rush a young dude up. You could ruin him. So why not bring a guy up? There's zero consequence to bringing Rich Hill and Dick Mountain and letting him eat some innings.
Yeah, but there is some consequence. I mean, if you lose every game he starts 11-2, I mean,
what's the consequence? Wait, I want to hear the consequence.
You lose all these games. I mean, they
are they in it? I'm sorry, or the Red Sox?
They're three or four games out of the last wild card. They're the first wild card team that's out of the playoffs in the American League. So, if they have a strong September, they conceivably could catch Minnesota.
They're not calling Rich Hill up because they feel like they have a chance to go to the playoffs or that they even care to go to the playoffs this year.
Okay.
They wouldn't be making this move.
That's kind of a good point. I
what are they? How far back are they?
They're 4 games back of the Twins, but you have the Orioles, the Guardians, the Royals, and the Twins.
Yes,
all
but if they catch one of those teams, they would make the playoffs. To me, that is 4 games with over a month to go. You shouldn't eliminate yourself.
I don't think they're eliminating themselves. I don't know. I was the one who brought the question up.
Yes,
so
you were.
I'm appreciating your candor, Chris.
You're welcome.
Number 1.
All right, this is the topic that came from Chris, and I'm going to read it exactly like he texted it. For Big Five, ... Last night at U.S. Open tennis all-time record 5-hour, 35-minute match, Evans beat Kachanov.
Yeah.
Chris,
That's all right. That's hard.
That was actually pretty close.
Yeah.
What sport requires you to be in the best shape to play?
Yeah, I thought it was fun to
think
about.
Good
I mean,
question.
these guys are out there for 5.5 hours yesterday, and they're playing. It's only a first-round match too. So imagine, I think Evans was the winner. He's from Great Britain. So he not only wins that, but 2 days later he's got to get back out there and play another match. So yeah, I think it's pretty impressive. So I was thinking, what is the hardest one? The first thing I thought of was I can eliminate 2 sports, and it's not fair. But I'm going to eliminate golf, even though you have to walk. And I'm going to eliminate baseball, even though you have to play every day. I think the other sports are all in contention for it. Basketball, I think you have to be in amazing shape. Football, you definitely have to be in incredible shape to play in those games. But I think hockey was the one that stood out to me, because they take a beating like a football player does, but they take it 3 times a week. But tennis might win. I mean, I don't know another sport. I mean, there's
Speed walking.
There's no marathon running. I know. We could get into all of these other sports that I'm not even thinking about. But I've always been impressed with tennis, that you could be out there mentally for 5.5 hours and be out there by yourself without any teammates, without any coaches, and have to negotiate a match like that. So I don't know that there's a direct answer. I think it's all sports have their say.
Tony, what sport requires you to be in the best shape to play?
Yeah, I couch this by saying, if we're talking about, even college sports, you got to be in tremendous shape to play all of these sports that were just named, including baseball. But for me, and not so much in college and baseball, I'd say more professional baseball.
Yeah, because it's every day.
It's every day. I would actually say it's either basketball or soccer that take up the
soccer. You run about 10 miles a match.
Yeah, that's a lot. And the only thing I would say about tennis that I would push against is, after every 3 games they go get to sit down and have a breather, and then they come back out. Obviously, all matches don't go 5 hours and however many minutes that one. That's a bit of an extreme on that end. But I would say it's those 3 that are the ones you got to be in most shape. I would eliminate hockey because after I found out that each line runs about 45 seconds.
Yeah, that's true.
Every shift.
45 seconds. That's it. It's a burst.
That's a long. And that's a long period of time to go full speed, but you still only got to go 45.
I'm with you.
So I would eliminate hockey.
You better be
So
careful. Some guy's
I,
going to check you into the boards while you're not looking.
Well, he won't check me the board because I won't be nowhere near the board to be checked. I won't pick one. I'll say those three though: tennis, soccer, and basketball are the ones I think you got to be most in shape.
That was pretty impressive though for those guys. Imagine it started at like 2
That's
o'clock.
crazy.
2 o'clock.
That's
Got over at
crazy.
7:35 at night.
It's worth it if you
that's
win.
not only physically taxing, that's mentally taxing.
Mentally,
at that
yeah.
point.
All right, that's it for the Big Five. When we get back, we'll get you set for tonight's game.
Hey, guys.
Welcome back to your home for Padres baseball. And aren't we proud to be associated with that these days? Gwynn and Chris, the program here on 97.3 The Fan. That is San Diego's #1 sports talk station. Glad you're with us this afternoon. Sammy Levitt is outside the studio right now, pulling whatever little hair he has left out, trying to figure out what he's going to talk about on today's pregame show.
Don't out him like that.
I told Sammy, Sammy, this is like the best team in baseball right now. Just gush.
Sam is always prepared.
Oh, he is. He's a Boy Scout. So he'll be ready. He's coming in here in a little while for the Padre pregame show, the Eco Water SoCal Padre pregame show. Then Tony and Jesse have the call of the game at 4:45 today. You know, last night, again, it's just, how they going to find a way, right? They're down 2-0. Okay, no biggie. They're down again 5-4. Okay, no biggie. And you just feel like they're going to win. You don't know how they're going to win, but they're going to find a way. And, I mentioned this to Tony earlier. I thought this was really one of the nice things about last night's win. Yeah, they got the home run by Machado, but the other 6 runs the Padres got last night, a bouncing 9-hop single to right field by Campusano, right, in the second inning, which, I give him credit. He fought off a tough pitch, got enough of it, and, got it through the hole. The next run scored on a ground out by McCoy.
Yes.
And then Arraez singled with 2 outs. That was a clutch hit. So that's how they got those 4 runs. And then the other 3 runs they got on a sacrifice fly. And again, I mentioned it. I thought Profar there, he was down 0-2 in the count when the Padres did that double steal, man. It was awesome. And so Profar comes up and just says, now a fly ball, get me in, tie the game. So he hits a fly ball. That's great team baseball.
Fundamental baseball.
Yes, and then Cronenworth got a run in on an RBI, but then McCoy scored on a wild pitch. So last night they scored on a ground out, a fly out, and a wild pitch. That was half their scoring. That's when things are not only going well, but you're doing things right.
Yeah.
And, they just, 26-8. I'll give you an idea how long of a stretch of games that is. It's 34, obviously.
Oh, good math.
Thank you. But here's how long a stretch. They only have 28 games left. So they're closer to the end of the season than they are to the beginning of this stretch of baseball. It's been going for a long time. It's been fantastic to watch. I know Tony kind of poo-pooed it, and to a certain extent, I get why he is.
Yeah.
But I really wouldn't mind ending up with the best record in the National League.
I wouldn't either.
Or the best record in baseball. The Padres have never done that. And I understand the ultimate goal is to win it all. Believe me, I know. But 5 years from now, if you don't win it all, you can always look back and say, man, 2024 was a special season. That was the year we had the best record in baseball. Something we've never done before. So
what you just said is, I think, is true. Like, I understand why Tony says right now they're in it to make the playoffs, win the World Series.
Win the World Series,
but
absolutely.
Also in the back of their mind, they want to be like, hey, we had the best record in baseball.
It would be nice to have that one time. It's 55 years of baseball. We've never had it. We've never been the #1 seed in the National League, ever.
That would be incredible.
Not once.
Especially where we were before the All-Star break.
So, to sit and look at it right now, Dodgers and Phillies are tied, although the Phillies aren't going to be tied for long.
Phillies are getting crushed.
They're
right
getting
now.
hammered by the Astros.
Jordan Alvarez just hit his second home run.
So what is it, 8-9 nothing
It's
now?
9-0.
Yeah, so Phillies are going to lose today. The Yankees
10-0, I'm sorry.
Sorry, thank you. They scored while we were talking.
They hit back-to-back home runs.
I see. Yankees are a half game back of the Phillies and Dodgers. Baltimore's 1.5 back. Milwaukee's 2.5 back. And then Arizona, Cleveland, Padres, 3 games back. That's how close it is. I'm not saying you, and I know Mike Schultz not going to. You don't go crazy to try and get the best record. But at the same time, you're this close. Keep playing good baseball, see what happens. It wouldn't bother me. I'd love it. And if you got the best record, what would come with it is first a bye. And I'm a little over everybody saying, oh, I'm scared to bye. You know what? If you don't play in the first round, you can't lose in the first round.
Yeah, your team's still alive.
It is stupid to not want the bye. So just get through. Regardless,
I don't think it's stupid.
It is.
I don't think it's stupid.
Don't take any chances of losing a game or a series. 2 games in a row, you could be out. So I want to get the division. I want the bye. I want the home field. I want everything happening at Petco Park. And why not? You're close to getting it right now. Doesn't mean you sacrifice everything to get the best record. Don't mean that, because the biggest picture is at the end, a parade. But while we're at it, it's not going to hurt my feelings.
Let's do this other stuff.
Not
We're
gonna
aiming
hurt
for
my-
the big cake, man.
Thank you, Fernando.
Um,
and by the way, they're
He's
doing
coming back.
all of this, and he's still not back.
There are many people out there that say that this team is in worse shape with Fernando. I don't know how you could say that.
They're the same people that say that they don't want to buy in the first round of the playoffs.
The numbers
that's all I
correlate
can tell you there.
to that, but it doesn't make any sense.
They
and by
don't
the
make
way,
any sense.
Yordan Alvarez does not just have 2 home runs; he has 3.
He has 3 today.
Yes.
All right. Is it still 10-0, or
It's
did
still
they
10
add
to nothing. I
on to
missed
it while
one
we
of
were
his
talking?
barrage of home runs.
Yes. All right. It's all Astros. Phillies are going to go down in that game. By the way, the Cubs, sneaky, are trying to creep up into the wild card. They've been playing well. Today they rallied from 10-3 down. In the fourth quarter, they kicked a field goal, then a touchdown, 2-point conversion, and they rallied to beat Pittsburgh 14-10 today. So the Cubs are starting to
And who started that game?
pick up a little ground. Paul Skeens
Oh, yes,
started,
yes,
but he
yes,
only gave up
yes.
3 runs for the Pirates.
I know that the momentum has shifted to Jackson Merrill for Rookie of the Year.
Yeah.
And this is another thing that me and you argue about all the time, but we agree with each other. Jackson Merrill was not the favorite on MLB.com this morning when I went on that page.
He's still not.
Paul
Yeah.
Skeens was front and center. It's like, can Jackson Merrill catch Paul Skeens? I'm like, what are you guys looking at?
How has he not caught and passed him 3 times over?
And I know I shouldn't get angry about it because it's not an
No,
award
we're
that's
all
for
taking
me.
it. We are taking
I'm going to take it personally.
We are all taking it very personally, and we should. If Jackson Merrill gets bypassed for Paul Skeens, at this point, with a month to go, it would be, we'd have to send one of your conspiracy criminal investigators out to figure out what happened. Because right now, this Jackson Merrill should win this in a landslide. But that's with a month to go. Luis Arraez will bat leadoff tonight as the lineup has come out. Skraby.
Oh, that would be me.
That would be you.
Sorry, I was watching another home run. No.
Arraez will be DHing tonight. I want to talk about that in a second. Profar in left, Cronenworth at first, Manny at third, Bogarts, Merrill in center, Peralta in right, Higashioka catcher, McCoy short. So pretty much the lineup you'd expect. Hassan Kim is not yet back from the IL. Some people were critical last night. Arraez was playing first base. Cronenworth was not. There was a ball hit in the first inning that glanced off the glove of Arraez. Remember that play?
I
Set
do.
the Cardinals up for first and third.
Yep. Mm-hmm.
They end up scoring a run or 2 in that inning.
Yep.
People said, why isn't Cronenworth playing there and Arraez just be the DH? I get it. Cronenworth's better. And in the playoffs, don't worry. Arraez will be the DH every game.
Yeah.
But for now, it doesn't hurt to keep Arraez more involved. And I want to say one other thing for all of those who don't like Arraez on defense. He made a great, and I'm not even saying mediocre, he made a great play with the bases loaded last night on that ground ball.
Mm-hmm.
I think almost every first baseman in the league would have taken that to the bag and just let the run score. Arraez made a perfect throw home. And to tell you what a good play it was, Campusano had already basically conceded the fact that a run was going to score. And that's why he had to kind of make sure he touched home plate.
Yeah.
But that was a really good play by a guy, Arraez, who takes a lot of crap for his defense.
Hey, and I put up last night after he stole that base, I love Luis Arraez. He plays
I do
really
too.
tough every single night. He's willing to go out there and play defense, even though he's not the best at it. And I put up on X last night. I said, I don't know why people don't like Luis
I don't
Arraez.
either.
And people were in the mentions. They outed themselves because everybody's like, who doesn't like him? There are people out there that are not happy with Luis Arraez being on the Padres because he doesn't hit for power. But
Yeah.
Luis Arraez is so much more than a singles hitter.
For all of you people that don't like Luis Arraez, you can take your F4 and you can go move out of town.
Remember, we declared
Take
war
your-
on war.
Take your F4 with you, because Luis Arraez is a terrible player, according to F4.
He's a .6 B war.
Yeah, he's barely better than a guy off the street,
Which
according
is
to the
insane.
war. He's
Sorry,
also
lost
about
a
to, can potentially be a 3-time batting champ. He is the trigger for this team. I love him, but you're right, Skrabe. There are people who don't. We'll take a break. We'll check traffic. When we come back, quick Daily Gambit, and then as part of the Daily Gambit, I told you next Thursday is opening night in the National Football League. A quick glance with early Week 1 odds for the first week of the National Football League. Scott Hansen is right around the corner. Can't wait.
Oh, okay.
From the 97.3 The Fan Traffic
All right, this is awesome. I mean, we're having a great time on the radio show, but even more so because Padres are just getting it done. Can't wait for tonight's game. How are they going to figure out a way to win tonight? We'll find out. Sam Levitt's pregame show in about 20 minutes. Crisello, Tony Gwynn Jr. is in St. Louis with the Padres. And, of course, Matt Skraby alongside here. They finally put a line out for the San Diego State Texas A&M Commerce game.
Oh, okay.
On Saturday evening.
Do we need to play the Daily Gambit Open?
Oh, yeah, maybe we should get into that while we're getting into this. Okay. Yes, good idea.
Do you like money?
I think about money a lot.
Do you like money without doing anything?
Winning.
Do you want to make money while watching sports?
I think Washington is immortal luck.
Washington! Woohoo!
If you answered yes, this is your segment. Just don't blame us when you lose.
Well, nothing is ever your fault.
It's your game. Take it.
Gwynn and Chris go through the top bets of the day in the Daily Gambit on 97.3 The Fan.
Daily Gambit is our daily sports betting segment here on Gwynn and Chris. Please, everybody, gamble responsibly. Chris, we'll get into that spread for San Diego State and Texas A&M Commerce in just a second. You said we were having fun on the show, and it was funny that someone asked me yesterday, do you ever have like a bad day? And I'm like, yeah, I have a bad day. It's called last season with the Padres. It was so depressing to come in here all the time and talk about a bad team. It's so much easier to do this job when the team is playing well. So much easier.
It is, but I'll answer that by saying we all have bad days, but I'm not going to allow the Padres playing poorly.
But you know that feeling of like, man, we really have to talk about another loss.
I really enjoy, ripping them just as much as I do, applauding them.
All right, good point.
I get just as much a kick out of both sides of the coin
there.
There you go. Like San Diego State. I mean, I'm an Aztec for life. But I'm going to be honest with you. If they don't win Saturday night, on Monday, I'm going to have to come in and rip them. Because they really shouldn't lose their opening game. Regardless of where they were last year, the Aztecs are a Division I college football program. Texas A&M Commerce is not. All right, and not only that, Texas A&M Commerce was like 1-8 last year. So they're not even a good Division II or III or wherever they are. There is a set transfer portal, so nobody knows exactly who's got what. But that said, the Aztecs are deserving, according to DraftKings, 33.5 point favorite. I saw them as a 34.5 point favorite as well. My buddy, Mike Golovko, you know Mike, he's one of our golf guys.
Oh, yes, I did meet him.
Mike Golovko had a good line the other day while we were playing golf. He said, I bet you Sean Lewis puts up 70 if he can.
Dang.
And I said, that's a mean kind of thing to say.
I don't know that he will.
I think he should, if he can. Are you gonna tell me one thing? If you beat Texas A&M Commerce 34-0, you crush them, you have no problem, etc. Everybody goes, you beat them 72-10. People are around town are gonna go, whoa, did they just score 72 points? Believe me, I think he should run it up.
I get that.
He's got to try to promote this football program. He's trying to promote Aztec fast offense, points on the board, breakneck speed. There's no better way to do it than if you can put. Now, this is me, the furthest thing away from coach speak ever. No coach would ever say
That's
this.
what I'm saying. Like, he seems like that type of coach where he has respect for his opponent.
He does. You know what? Look, you got to have respect for your opponent, but if it's that type of night where you can put 60 or even 70, the Aztecs have to do it. They're trying to sell a product here.
I get what
you're saying. And you know me, I'm not about that. I don't like that. Normally, I don't like rubbing it in and running up the score.
You tell me that you do every day. You love that stuff.
I don't like that. You know that. You've been around me a long time.
I don't think Sean Lewis is that guy, and I know what you're saying, but I think a good 42-0 win still sends a message.
That sends a message, but 72-0 gets everybody's attention in the town.
I agree.
There's
there
a big difference.
I agree there too.
All right.
All right.
Now that I said that, they'll win 13-10 or something at the last second field goal.
Let's review some of the bad. That would be bad.
That would be bad.
This hour first. is brought to you by Floor & Decor. Unbeatable prices, unmatched in-stock selection. Floor & Decor has more styles of laminate, vinyl, tile, wood, and stone for anyone looking for the right look at the right price. Jeez. Your next beautiful space is at Floor & Decor. Floor & Decor, unbeatable prices, unmatched in-stock selection. Now, Padres over under 8 runs with the Cardinals last night. We both said under, and we were both wrong. It was 7-5, so 12 total runs in that one.
They've gone over in each of the first 2 games of the series. Something to keep
in
an
mind.
eye on.
Okay,
Sure.
Dodgers were -1.5 on the run line over the Orioles last night. Both of us chose the Orioles, and both of us were correct.
The
Orioles.
O's.
The O's won 3-2.
They did.
Verlander and Nola, who had more strikeouts last night in their head-to-head matchup. Nola had 6. You chose Verlander, Chris. I chose Nola. Verlander had 3.
You win.
So I win that one.
On that one. Good for
Logan
you.
Webb over under 6.1 innings pitched. We both said under, and we were both correct. He went 5 innings last night. Correct? Yeah.
Logan, yeah, only
Okay.
5. Yeah, not a great outing for
I
him.
actually read something about how they're going to have to limit him down the stretch, possibly, because there's something going on with him. But he's the innings leader in all of baseball. I think you said that yesterday.
Yes.
And it's something to keep an eye on in the National League West. If he can't pitch to his ability down the stretch, I don't know.
Giants aren't making it. No
Yeah,
Robbie
they're-
Ray.
yeah.
They're not making it.
That would be tough.
They're just not making it.
All right, next one. Aces. The Las Vegas Aces were 10-point favorites over the Dallas Wings. You chose the Aces. I chose the Wings. Wings won this one, Chris. 93-90. Good for them.
Straight up.
Yeah, straight up. Asia Wilson.
Aces are the 2-time defending champs. They're getting concerned
They are getting concerned.
in Las Vegas.
Asia Wilson over under 26.5 points. You went over, I went under, and she was ridiculous. 42 points last night.
What a performance, even in a loss.
Now, Alcaraz was a 10.5 game favorite over Lee 2.
This was exciting, I must tell you. Go ahead and tell them what the final score was there.
I believe Alcaraz won, but he only won by 10 games.
That's right.
So we lose the bet.
We
because
lost the
didn't bet. I almost went with Lee 2.
You should have gone with Lee. Here's what happened, because I was watching it, because I love the tennis, as you know. Alcaraz was ahead 5-0 in the final set. If he wins the last game 6-0, then he wins the bet. But Lee 2 got that last game right before the end of the match.
Oh.
And then when Alcaraz beat him in the next game, he only won by 10 instead of 11. So if you had a wager, it would have come down to one game being played out there between
That's
two
pretty
guys
crazy.
who would have had no idea what was
That's
going on.
pretty crazy.
Yeah. All right, let's do a couple of quick picks for tonight. And then I want to give you some Week 1 NFL odds. Padres 1.5 over the Cardinals tonight. Skrabe, you believe in 3 in a row? Do you
Are
believe
we not
in...
betting on SDSU right now? We're going to wait till Friday, maybe?
Yeah, we're going to wait till Friday. It's a
Oh,
little
well, we
early.
do have a very short show. Let's bet on them now. Oh, I guess we could do it tomorrow, too.
We got plenty of time tomorrow.
Okay. Padres 1.5 on the run line.
You believe 3 straight?
I do.
You do.
I do. I'm not going to go against them.
I can't go against them right now. They're too hot. Miami, Colorado, 11 runs over under. Last night it was 9-8.
Yes.
The night we bet on it was 3-2.
I know.
So what's it going to be tonight?
You said 11 runs?
Yeah.
Ezekiel Tovar had 2 home runs last
He
night.
did, Ezekiel.
I'm going to say they do it again. Go over.
Over. It just seems like an over. Chris Sale, 7.5 strikeouts at Minnesota.
Minnesota.
Chris Sale is the NL Cy Young favorite at this moment. But don't look past his reliever teammate, Raisel Iglesias. Just saying.
You want to get that out there just in case, which I understand because that would be crazy if he did that.
All right. Chris Sale, he'll go at Minnesota. Twins, free swingers. He'll go over. It's 8 Ks, though. That's a lot. I'll say over.
He
Why not?
averages what, like 8 Ks probably?
Yeah. That one.
I'll say over as well.
Novak Djokovic, 8.5 games over his second-round opponent, Laszlo Djerde.
Laszlo.
I don't know who it is.
Djerde.
You pronounce this.
Okay.
D-J-E-R-E.
Jury?
Okay, good enough. Laszlo, 8.5 games. Last night, Lee 2 did it with the games. What are you doing tonight?
I don't know that. I feel like Alcaraz doesn't have that killer instinct like Djokovic has.
You going with Joker?
Yeah, I'm going to go with the Joker.
I'll go with the Joker, too. New York Liberty, we're talking about them, the WNBA running away with the season. They're in L.A. tonight, and they're 13.5 on the road over the Sparks. They beat the Sparks by like 37 points a couple of weeks ago. I'm taking the Sparks against all odds. Got to have a little pride.
Wait, say that. I was trying to write down the last bet.
The Liberty beat the Sparks by 37 a couple of weeks ago.
Okay.
Tonight they're favored by 13.5. I got to go with the Sparks. Like I said, they got to have some pride.
Liberty, Liberty, Liberty.
All right. Brittany Griner, 18.5 points.
We've made way too many bets on her this week.
Brittany's been big on. We've been big on Brittany this week. 18.5 points against Minnesota. I'm going to say under. Minnesota is quietly the best team in the West.
I'm going to say over.
The Lynx.
You're
going over. Okay. And finally, Angel Reese, the polarizing rebounder for the Chicago Sky. 14.5 rebounds against Washington tonight. Now, she's been over 20 like 3 games in a row. And one thing we know about Angel, she loves to
that tip back.
Get that tip back, rebound.
Yeah.
And she also, even though she won't admit it, she kind of likes these little streaks, like her double-double streak. And
they're fun.
She loves it. She'll do anything to keep it alive. So are you going to bet against her 14.5 rebounds? Scrape?
No.
Yeah, you're not. You're going over.
Yeah.
I go over, too. She might get that in the first quarter. After her first layup, she misses and taps it up there.
2.
Yeah.
Her field goal percentage is awful,
It
but her
is
rebounding
awful.
is great.
I saw a stat that she's like shoots 20% on shots under 2 feet.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah, well, that's because she's tipping the ball up and missing all the time.
Wow.
Angel.
That's a lot.
All right.
That's it?
Yeah.
All right.
That's the Daily Gambit. Tomorrow, a week from tomorrow, Ravens Chiefs. It's here already.
I know.
Opening night in the National Football League. Just a quick look ahead. Chiefs are favored by 3, which tells me not a lot.
Are they at home?
They are.
So the game's even.
That's pretty even. Of course, last year the Chiefs beat the Ravens at Baltimore in the AFC Championship game.
They did, but
There should be some revenge factor for the Ravens here.
I am predicting, as you were predicting Raisel Iglesias might win, I'm predicting that the Chiefs miss the playoffs this year.
Miss the playoffs
No,
entirely.
I'm not going to go that far, but I'm going to say that they're not as good as they've been in the past. There is just so much going on off the field for this team that I cannot think that they're actually focused on the season ahead.
It bothers me a little bit that nothing has really ever happened or been said any further about Rashee Rice and his, blatant disregard for the law.
Yeah.
And they've just, I don't know. I guess you got to stand behind your guys, but
You do, but they stand behind the wrong things. This is the team who didn't discipline Kareem Hunt until they found out, or until it went public.
Andy Reid, man, a lot of people love him now, but he's a little hypocritical. I don't want to say hypocritical. I mean, Andy Reid's was his brother, right? Who ended up in jail?
No, his son.
His son, yeah.
His son going from the practice facility.
Drunk and killed somebody?
No, didn't kill somebody, but
Badly,
he ran into
though.
the back of a truck and he really injured a
really
4
bad.
or 5-year-old girl.
Yeah. Andy Reid, I mean, he's a forgiving guy because I think he's seen so much. But I don't know. I see what you're saying. All right, Eagles 2.5 over the Packers. This is the Friday night game.
In Brazil.
Both teams wear green, and says Josh Jacobs, anywhere wears green gets physically harmed in Brazil.
That is interesting.
The NFL tells Josh Jacobs, don't worry about it.
Yeah, you're good.
You're fine, so we'll see. Eagles are 2.5-point pick over the Packers. Remember, the Eagles last year were 10-1 and then just collapsed.
Oh, I remember, Chris.
Yes, they did.
Guess what
collapse.
happened? The
What
49ers
happened?
beat them. That whole fight with their security guard, Dom, everything went downhill after
You're
that.
taking all the credit for their collapse?
I am taking all the credit for their collapse.
Here's my big thing I'd worry about if I was the Eagles. No more Jason Kelsey. He's a big part of that tush-push. and everything else that the Eagles like to do.
By the way, did you see what they sold their podcast for? The Kelseys?
A lot.
$100 million.
The rich.
$100 million.
Yeah. What do you think you and I could sell our podcast for? $1?
10 cents.
Bengals are 9.5 over the Patriots. This is the biggest spread in week 1. Bills are 5.5 over the Cardinals. Kyler Murray's
that
back.
seems low.
You think that's low? But
I think
Josh
this should
Allen
be-
has no weapons this year. You have to kind of create some new ones. Texans at Colts. Good game. Texans favored by 2.5 on the road. Dolphins, no better than the Jaguars, Skrabe. 3-point favorite at home. That's a toss-up according to the odds makers.
Are the Jaguars going to turn? Is Trevor Lawrence going to turn the corner this year?
Well, 2 years ago he turned the corner. Then last year he
regressed. He also was injured a lot.
Dolphins, I'm just saying, I follow the Dolphins. They're always dangerous in September. It's not December. Look out for Miami.
We got an offer for our podcast, $2.25.
Okay. Well,
we're making our way up to $100 million.
Yes, when we get up to the million, let us know. Chicago Bears already 4.5 over Tennessee. It is in Chicago, but I mean, do we have that much confidence already in Caleb Williams before he steps on the field?
Yes, Chris, we do.
I guess so. Vikings are a 1-point favorite at the Giants. It's your guy Kevin O'Connell with Sam Darnold at the helm. Giants, no Saquon Barkley. I don't know.
Daniel Jones at the helm.
That could be kind of ugly. Falcons 3 over the Steelers. That's in Atlanta.
They named their starter.
Yeah, that's right. Russell Wilson will get the call for the Steelers, so I will probably be betting the Falcons here.
Oh, well.
I think Russell Wilson gets the job for 4 or 5 weeks, and then Mike Tomlin has enough of his crap. They don't seem to be they're not the same type of person, I don't think.
Right? It doesn't seem like many people mesh with Russell Wilson.
Fair enough. Seahawks are 6 over the Broncos. I don't think that's tells you how good the Seahawks it is. It tells you how bad people think the Broncos are going to be.
I mean, Bo Nix is going to be eaten alive.
Raiders at Chargers. I'm a little surprised. I don't know. Chargers by 3.5 here with limpy, gimpy Justin Herbert. But, Harbaugh's Harbaugh. Dallas is at Cleveland. You'd think Dallas would be a big favorite on the first game. Nope, Cleveland by 2.5.
Wow, that is interesting.
A little surprising.
I don't get the Cleveland love, but
they
made
like
the playoffs the last couple of years.
Tampa Bay 3.5 over Washington. It's kind of an uninteresting game.
Yeah, it really is.
Jets at San Francisco is I forgot one more Sunday night game. Detroit, 3.5 over the Rams. And then Monday night game, 49ers, only 3.5 over the Jets. The 49ers, they're at home. They get 3 points for being at home. What are you going to tell me? You only think the 49ers are a half point better than the Jets? Based on what we've seen over the last bundle of years?
If I'm going to cry...
49ers go to the Super Bowl. The Jets barely get the 500, if that.
If I am going to cry about the Chiefs having too much going on, the 49ers also had a lot going on that I'm not happy with. Brandon Ayuk is still not traded, but still not with the team. Trent Williams is not going to come back until he gets all the money he wants, or else... It's bad news, Chris. Bad news.
All right, you're worried about the 49ers.
I'm always worried about the 49ers.
Now, of course you are. Your favorite team, you're always allowed to be concerned. I don't see that spread, though. The Jets could win the game, but I don't see giving the Jets that much love based on a 41-year-old quarterback who, although good, hasn't played in 2 years. And going into San Francisco against a Super Bowl team, you're going to tell me the 49ers are only a half point better than the Jets?
Yeah, it's going to be tough.
I don't see that.
It's going to be tough.
All right, thank you. Thank you, Tony Gwynn Jr. Make way. Here comes Sammy Levitt's Eco Water SoCal pregame show, then another Padre night in St. Louis. We have a full show tomorrow after the game, so we'll be on around 2:30, 3 o'clock after Padre baseball tomorrow. We'll see you then. Don't forget to sign up for our
Eliminator Challenge.
97.3thefantasy.com.
Thank you very much, Gwynn and Chris.
Good night.